Hi there everyone, this is Isaac with ReviewBuzz. I'd like to say thank you for taking some time out of your busy day to hang out with me. Today we're going to go over Phase 1 training, strategies to find new customers, defend current ones, and close more sales. Right, so we'll go ahead and get right into the slide presentation here. My agenda that I have is a short one. First thing is basic setup. So we'll go over how you can check to make sure that your dashboard is set up. As far as ReviewBuzz is concerned, it is ready to go. Your customers can start writing reviews for you. But we'll go over stuff like your emails, your address, your team members, that kind of stuff. The second thing we're going to touch on today is understanding how to start using ReviewBuzz today. That way you can start generating those reviews as soon as possible. Alright, now I won't spend too much time on this slide. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, and I think you understand the value of reviews. That's why we're all here. 5-star reviews equals more calls, more closed sales, and eventually more happy customers, more loyal customers. Now I will talk about the 5 steps to superstar results. Step 1 is delivering great service. Now I think you would agree that you cannot get 5-star reviews unless you are delivering 5-star service, right? Step 2 is asking for that review. Now with ReviewBuzz you have a couple more tools at your disposal. You have the cards that you'll be able to hand out, and then the emails that we're going to go over today that you'll be sending out to customers. Step 3 is your customers now have a platform to write this review. Typically customers or the consumer doesn't necessarily know where to go write a review. Now I think you would also agree that an unhappy customer, there's not much you have to do to help them to write that review. They're going to find a place to write this negative review. But happy customers, we have to make it as easy as possible. Step 4 is really your dashboard and all the many tools and features that you have within there that you'll be able to leverage and take advantage of. And you'll find out more throughout the training. Step 5 is your team members, getting them engaged. Each one of them will have their own dashboard that they can log in and see the kind of feedback that they're a part of, thereby getting better here at step 1. So that's ReviewBuzz in its simplest form. Now the training, we break it up and give it to you in bite-sized pieces. Today is phase 1. We title this immediate results because we want to make sure that you are comfortable with the dashboard and understand it. That way you can start using it today and hopefully get your first review today. Phase 2 and 3, we break it up for you. Phase 2 will dive into a few other features that you'll be able to leverage and take advantage of. Phase 3 is really recapping everything we've done until then and really making sure that you understand some of the reporting features within ReviewBuzz so that you can stay on top of things and activate the widget on your website. And you'll notice it says 1 to 2 months, but typically my clients finish their training within a month. So that part is really up to you. So let's go ahead and get started. So let me jump out of the slide and right into a dashboard. Now sometimes when you initially log in for the first time into ReviewBuzz, you'll notice that it says Setup Wizard across the top. Now this part is pretty much done for you. So in order to get back into the manager dashboard, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can scroll to the very bottom of the page and then click continue until you finish the progress bar here, or you can click on the Setup Wizard banner here at the very top, and that'll take you right into your manager dashboard. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to go over basic setup first. So for that we're going to hang out here under the settings tab, and I'll zoom in just a little bit, that way you can see this a little better. So the first thing we're going to click on is account, and here, if you could do me a favor, within your dashboard just make sure that we have your company details correct, as in your address, city, phone number, all that good stuff. This book online link is a field for you to fill in with a link from your website, if you have one, where your customers can book, click on that link to book a service call. So you would simply copy and paste that URL and plug that in here. The service type, that would be if you're a air conditioning and heating company, you probably want to type in HVAC. If you're plumbing, maybe plumbing as well, and you want to separate that by commas, and then click Save. Alright, so let me scroll down just a little further. Now we're looking at the email notification list. Now down below you'll notice the emails that will be notified every time we send out a weekly report or you get a new review. You'll notice that you can edit or delete these records or even add a new one here. Alright, let me scroll down a little further. Now we're looking at the negative review notification list. Same idea. You can edit or delete the emails and folks that you have on this list, and you could always add another individual here by adding their first and last name and their email address. You'll notice the option for a phone number, but you can only choose one or the other, and I recommend that you use the email, and then click Save. Alright, so that was under Settings and then Accounts. Now we're going to move down to the next one, which is Team Members. On this page you'll find your team member list. These are your employees as we have uploaded them for you. However, we won't have a photo and we won't have a bio of them. This is where we need your help. So in order to update these profiles with a bio and picture, we simply click on their name or edit, and that'll take us right into this employee's profile page. From here you can update their personal message right in here and their bio right in this field as well. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll follow up and send you some bio samples. That way you know what to plug in there, and a questionnaire that you can hand out to your team for them to answer and then give back to you. That way you can fill it in with a personal message and bio. Then if we scroll down just above the Save button, there's a Choose File button. So if I click on that, you'll be able to pull up your team member's photo, and it'll populate here on the left hand side in this pop-up. Now I will ask you to pay attention to this little scrolling bar, or this spinning bar here. If you see this in perpetuity, as in it doesn't stop, and you never see this pop-up, that's an indication that this file or this photo is too large. It needs to be resized to under 2 megabytes, and then it'll upload just fine. Once you have it here, I apologize about that jump, you simply click and drag across the image until you're happy with that, and then you would save thumbnail. That's how you would crop it. I won't do that because I already have a photo in there, but as soon as I have it here I can click Save, and I would have updated my photo or this bio with a photo and bio down here and throughout ReviewBuzz. Okay, so that's what we need your help with, is updating your team member list that you find at the bottom with a bio and a picture of your team members. Let me scroll back up and then go to the Settings tab again, and this time we're going to click on Email in CSR Settings, and for this part we're only going to talk about the email settings or the sender email address. And in this case I have here a support@reviewbuzz.com as the sender email address. And what is the sender email address? This is the email that will reflect in any correspondence that you send out to customers, be it the Meet the Team email or a feedback request email. This is the email your customers are going to see. If your customers happen to reply to one of those emails, it's also going to go back here. So if you have an email that says johnsmith@yourcompanyname.com, I would recommend that you change that to something like support@yourcompanyname, feedback@yourcompanyname, or info@yourcompanyname.com. Alright, let me go up to Settings and then down to Review Sites. On this page you'll find the buttons that your customers will see when they go through the portal to write this review for you. And then just below the buttons you'll notice a link. So if you could, when we're done with this training session, please do me a favor, go back to Settings and then Review Sites, and then click on these links. Just confirm for us that we are pushing your customers to the right listing. Okay? And everything we've done so far has been under the Settings tab. And that's about it as far as the basic setup of the dashboard. So now let's start using ReviewBuzz now. So for that, I'm going to move over here to the Manage tab, and then down to Feedback Request. Excuse me. So from this page, let me zoom out so you can see this a little better. It's actually separated by these blue bars. The top portion here is where we add our customers. The center portion is searching capabilities that you have within ReviewBuzz, and then the bottom is where those records are going to populate. Alright, so let's focus on adding customers into ReviewBuzz. So I'm going to do a couple different ones, that way you can make this work within your workflow. Now when we add a customer, we simply click on this Add button here on this left hand side. Let me scroll down a little bit so we can see this a little better. And we add our first customer. Right, then we'll say the last name is Test, and then their email, we're just going to say Test here. Okay, now the appointment date and time. For this, I'm going to make some recommendations, and I'll do a couple samples here. If we know the date, but we do not know the tech, I'm going to recommend that we do not enter a time just yet. So we'll go ahead and do the date. We'll just pick a date here. We'll just say the 3rd. And remember, we don't have a tech, not yet anyway, so we're going to leave this at 1 a.m. And that's going to make sense in just a little bit. So now we go down to step 2. We add ourselves, whoever took this call. We're going to say Eric was the CSR who took this call. So he selects himself, and then he moves on. Okay, so that's our first record inside of ReviewBuzz. Now let me scroll down to the very bottom so that you can see that record. Okay, it's right here. Now let's add another customer. So I'll add click on the Add button, and then I'll add our second customer there. Isaac 2, we'll just say that, and then Test. Right. Now again, we have a date, but we don't know who the tech is. So we'll enter that date. Leave these alone for now, and then go down to step 2, and we add ourselves. In this case, it was Eric. Alright, so we have a couple records inside of ReviewBuzz. Right. Now this page is going to fill up with a whole bunch of records, different dates, different customer names, and I'll show you what that looks like once you have another one in there that has a different name, or even more specifically a different date. Okay. So this one, we're going to push this out a little further, and then still select ourselves, and then we continue. So as you can see, it took me maybe a couple minutes to articulate what I was doing here, but it really is a few seconds per customer, however long it takes you to type in their name, email, and then you select yourself and then move on. Alright, so we're looking at 3 records here, 2 of which are scheduled for the 3rd, and then 1 on the 5th. Now as a CSR or dispatcher, for me, I could look up these records to update them simply by looking for the one that says 1 a.m. Alright, now remember, this is going to be full of records, so it might be easier to look up the customer by name. We're going to say 3 Test, or actually Isaac, right? So it'll pull up all the records that have that name in there. Or you can do an advanced search. So this is what I'm probably going to recommend for you today. I recommend that you tell the dashboard to look up appointments only. Now you can say appointments and sent requests, but today we're going to focus on appointments only, and narrow down by date. In this case, we're going to say the 3rd as a start date, and then the end date, the 3rd. Again, this is why this is how we tell the dashboard to only show us results that are scheduled for the 3rd. So once I scroll down, you'll notice that I'm only looking at the 2 records scheduled for that date, and as a dispatcher, it's much easier for me to come back in here and look for the ones that say 1 a.m. That way I can edit this record. And how do I edit that? Over here on the left hand side, there's a delete and edit option. We're going to click on edit, and that opens up this record one more time, and now I can enter a time window now that I've figured out who the tech is. And I'll just make up a time window here. We're just going to say 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Then I'd go down to step 2. I leave the CSR here because I want the customer to see who they spoke to. I simply add the tech. And in this case, we're sending out Isaac. No, that's not Isaac. We'll send out Isaac. You'll notice on the right-hand side, there's a radio button. Right? This is for you to select which photo will populate first in that Meet the Team email. So we'll just say Isaac. And then click Continue. And that's our first record that's been updated. It has a time window. And again, I just look for the ones that say 1 a.m. I click Edit. Now I can update this record with a time window. And I go down to step 2 and I add the tech. And I click Continue. Alright, now that these records have been updated, they're ready to go. And you probably want to send this email out as close to this date and time. You can book a call a few days out, and you can send it then. However, you're going to run into a couple things. If you send this email today, it'll be buried in your customer's inbox, so you lose a little value there. And the second thing, you could change the time or even the tech. Right? So you want to send this as close to this date and time. So we'll just pretend that it's the night before. And all you have to do is click on Send the Meet the Team email to send it, or you can batch it. I recommend that you do the batch. That's over here on the left-hand side. You can select all, or go down the list to check mark the ones that are ready to go. And then there's a drop down right here. So let me zoom in here so you can see this a little better. I would simply click on the Send the Meet the Team email. So if you have 20 records in the dashboard here, you're going to send them all out at once. And you notice that this record has changed. It's waiting for us to complete and then send out the feedback request. As far as your operations are concerned, you dispatch as you always have. Your team's going to go out there and wow the customer and earn that review. And when they're done with that job, they would notify you like they always have. So for you as a dispatcher or the CSR in charge of this, you can complete these one at a time by clicking this orange button here, or you can do that mass edit. So I'm going to recommend that mass edit. That way you spend as little time as possible in here. You just want to get this done and get on about your other duties that you have going on. So select all, go back to this mass edit drop down, and we would complete the jobs. You'll notice that they changed here, and this is built in by design. We want to make sure you complete the job first so that you don't accidentally send out a feedback request. So now that these have been completed, I would go back to the drop down and then send the feedback request. And I've sent out a whole bunch all at once. Alright, so that's how you start using ReviewBuzz moving forward. I do recommend that you start adding your customers by clicking that add button there. Let me refresh this page so we can see the records that we do have left in there. And you'll notice it's still here. So you can start using ReviewBuzz today, moving forward, start sending out the Meet the Team emails, and start sending out the feedback request. Now you can start taking advantage of ReviewBuzz retroactively as well. That means going backwards. If you have customers that you served last month, you can add them in here. Let's just put in a customer name, last month, and his email. And then the date is no longer relevant at this point because you've already served them last month. So we simply check mark this box down below where it says do not display appointment date in email. And all I've done was their name and email address. Then I go down to step 2 and then add the tech. So we'll just say that it was Eric that was out there. And then we click continue. So now we have a customer in here that we served last month. Remember, you want to do as many customers as possible. So if you have another customer that you served last week, again, I recommend that you add them into ReviewBuzz. That way we can start taking advantage of that. Okay, and then we come down here, we add our tech again, and then we click continue. And in this case, these are all ready to go. We simply select all, skip the Meet the Team email. Let me zoom in so you can see this a little better. Remember, these customers were already serviced last week or last month, so we would skip the Meet the Team email, immediately complete the job, and then send out the feedback request. That's the secret to getting reviews as early as today. You're taking advantage of customers that were happy with you last week and last month. Give them the opportunity to write that review for you today. Okay, that's pretty much all I had for you guys today. We went over how to make sure that the information we have inside of your dashboard is correct under the Settings tab. There are the top 4 items here. And then how to add customers into ReviewBuzz under Manage, and then Feedback Request. Okay, if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us anytime at support@reviewbuzz.com, or you can call us at 760-407-8080, extension 2 for our Client Services Department. Thank you very much, and have a great day. Talk to you soon.